Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. It's early, I'm tired, grab a coffee, I know I have mine. We're going to get started on this video. Today's video is going to be my July reading wrap-up, books I've read in July. As always, I am going to start by telling you guys if I DNF'd anything, and then we will move on to what I actually read. So let's get started. Okay guys, so I did DNF one book this month, and that was called One Was Lost by Natalie D. Richards. Now, okay, this book is a YA thriller. I should have known better. I'm not really into YA thrillers that much, but I wanted to give it a try anyways, and, you know, give it a chance. And I did not like it. So this book follows a group of students who are sent on a hiking camping trip for their school, and, you know, some crazy stuff happens, and they are in danger. They lose part of their classmates due to a flood. Like, there's a bunch of stuff that's, you know, supposed to happen, and it's a thriller, you know. I got over halfway through this book, and nothing really happened at all. The main, like, three characters that you kind of follow, instead of them talking about the current situation and what was going on in their current situation and why they needed to, like, be rescued or, like, find help, instead of them doing any of that, they just argued with each other about why they don't like each other, why they don't trust each other, and why, like, they're not friends at school. Nothing really happened. I was over halfway through this book, and it is not a very long one to begin with. It is only 304 pages, and I was over halfway through it, and literally nothing happened. I DNF'd it. Enter at your own risk, I guess. If you guys would like to try it, I'm not by any means telling you not to. I'm just saying it wasn't for me. So let's move on to the books I actually did read now. Sorry, I wanted to fix my camera angle a little bit. Anyway, so as far as the books I actually did complete this month, I've read 7 books for the month of July. Not great, not horrible. It is what it is, you know. It is what it is. Pretty good, considering I was pretty busy a big, huge part of the month, so I'll take it. Anyways, first book I read, and these are in no particular order, by the way. Just throwing that out there. But one of the books that I read this month is The Thief by J.R. Ward. This is part of her Black Dagger Brotherhood series. I am reading this series and its novellas and spin-offs for the very first time in a particular reading order. If you guys would like to know that reading order, let me know and I can make it in a separate video for you. So I'm not going to go into detail too much about what this particular book is about, because it is quite a ways into the series at this point. The overall gist of the Black Dagger Brotherhood series, if you're not aware or familiar, you basically follow a group of vampire warriors who are tasked with protecting the vampire race from going extinct from their slayers. There's a war going on. There is romance. This is marketed as a adult paranormal romance, but do not let that fool you. If romance is really not your thing, these don't have a ton of romance in them. They do have romance. That is why they're marketed that way. But there's a lot of action, a lot of drama, there's a lot of fighting. They are actively fighting a war. It's a really good series, and I really, really, really love it. This one was no exception. I loved it too, and I gave it 5 stars. Let's move on. I decided to read my very first Karen Slaughter standalone this month, and it did not disappoint. I read Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter. This book, you follow 2 sisters who are estranged from each other due to things that happened in their past. And one of the big things that they never could get over is the fact that their other sister disappeared decades ago, and they have no idea what happened to her. They don't know if she was murdered or kidnapped or ran away or what the situation is. So they want to kind of figure that out. And people that are involved with them might be tied closer to the case than they thought. It was really, really good. I really, really liked it, and I gave it 5 stars. Highly recommend Karen Slaughter if you haven't tried her yet. I try to read like one James Patterson book at least a month. I'm really liking his writing so far. I know he's a problematic author. He's not for everybody, but I really enjoy his writing. It's very fast-paced for me, and I can get through them very quickly, and I really like him. So I picked up this book. It's called Honeymoon by James Patterson, and I really, 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 really enjoyed this. This follows a woman who is like a black widow of sorts. She is murdering people that she gets engaged to, and you kind of follow her main point of view for most of the book, and that was really interesting to me because usually, from what I have experienced reading James Patterson, which is mainly just the Women's Murder Club series, which I will talk about in a bit because I did read one of those too, usually you follow like the good guys, and you only get like snippets, like small little chapters once in a while of the killer's point of view, where in this one, most of the book is the killer's point of view. So I really, really, really liked that. Again, I don't know what it is. His writing just flows super smooth for me. Really easy to get through, very fast paced, and I really, really, really liked it. I gave it 4.5 stars, and I would recommend you give it a try if you haven't. So, Honeymoon by James Patterson. Speaking of James Patterson, as I explained, I have been reading one of his books a month, mainly with the Women's Murder Club series. I'm trying to work my way through it. I know it is an ongoing series. He is still actively writing for it, but I've never read it until a couple months ago, and I am freaking hooked. So, the next book in the series that I needed to read is book number 13. So that is exactly what I did. I read Unlucky 13. This is number 13 in the series of the Women's Murder Club. Again, really, really, really enjoyed it. I'm not going to tell you what this specific book is about because it is book number 13 in the series, but I will tell you kind of a gist of what the main series is about. You basically follow your main character is named Lindsay Boxer. She's a homicide detective for the San Francisco Police Department. And you kind of follow her and her friends and her coworkers. Each book is a different case they have to solve. It's like a police drama, police procedural, adult thriller type of series. I really, 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 really like these, and I gave this 4 stars. These are really good, super fast paced, very easy to get through. I think I finished this in like a day. So there's that too. Really, really good. I picked up like an anthology type of book this month called Dead After Dark. Specifically, I read the J.R. Ward story in here, and that one was called The Story of Sun. It was very, very short. I think it was like just over 100 pages in length. Very, very short. That's the whole reason I bought this book, is because I wanted The Story of Sun so I could read it, since I love her Black Dagger Brotherhood series so much. So that is what I did. Again, it's really, really short, almost like a novella, but it is one of the first, I believe, one of the first vampire books that she wrote, and it kind of like inspired her to write the Black Dagger Brotherhood series. Not nearly as good as the Black Dagger Brotherhood series. I still gave it 4 stars, but it was very interesting to me to see how far her writing has come since I got introduced to J.R. Ward via the Black Dagger Brotherhood, and this obviously is not part of that. But I still really enjoyed it. You follow a woman who does like wills and stuff. She's a type of lawyer, and she has to go to an estate, and she ends up meeting Sun, and he is kind of like trapped in the basement, locked up. He's a vampire. He's dangerous. She falls in love with him. Things happen. It's very, very quick paced, kind of insta-lovey, but it is only like 100 pages. So I mean, there's that. Take that into consideration. But I still really enjoyed it, and again, it was really cool to see how far her writing has progressed, and I still enjoyed it. So, 4 stars. I read a book called You Can Run by Rebecca Zanetti. This is the first book in a new thriller series that this author is doing. And you follow a character named Laurel Snow, who works in like the homicide division, and she ends up having to go back to her hometown when her uncle is being framed for a murder he did not commit. While she's there, She finds a whole bunch of bodies, and then they realize, oh, we have a serial killer on our hands, not just a regular, like, kill one person and be done. Like, this is a serial killer. There are, like, I think they found over, like, 15 bodies or something. I don't even remember. It was hard to keep track of that part of it, but this was really, really good. I really, really liked this. I gave it 4 stars. It was a pretty good adult thriller. I was hoping it would be a little bit more police procedural, because I really like those kinds of thrillers lately. This was not. This was more plot story driven. Not as police procedural as I thought it would be. But even though, like, your main character is a detective, you know, that's why I was thinking, oh, police procedural, but it really wasn't that. But I'm having a hard time explaining this, but it was really good. I really liked it. If you guys haven't read it, give it a chance. I think you might like it. I really enjoyed it for what it was. Again, not super long. I got through it pretty quickly. I think I finished it in like a day and a half. I don't even remember. It was pretty good though, and I really enjoyed it, and I will probably continue the series when the second book comes out. So there's that. 4 stars. And that is it. Those are all of the books that I read in the month of July. So, how was your reading month? What books did you read? Did you read any of the books I talked about in this video? Have you in the past? What were your thoughts on them? Did you like them? What did you think? And that's pretty much it. So I'm going to wrap this video up, and I will see you guys in one of my next videos pretty soon. Hope you enjoyed, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye. And the final book I read, I'm going to see if I can figure out how to insert a photo in here, but it is called I Am a Therapist and My Patient is a Vegan Terrorist. It is book number 3 in the Dr. Harper Therapy series by Dr. Harper. It's a trilogy, I believe, so I believe this is the final one. I really enjoyed it for what it was. They are very, very fast-paced, relatively short. I think each one's just roughly right around the 200-page mark, so not super long. They're basically like each chapter is like a patient file, and all the patient files have something that kind of tie them together to create the overall story. I enjoyed it for what it was. I gave it 4 stars. Was it the best writing? Absolutely not. But it was entertaining, and it made me laugh out loud a couple of times, and I liked it. It's like a thriller series. I don't know. Again, the writing was not great. Do not go into this series expecting super great writing, because it's just not there. But for what it was, I was entertained. So I enjoyed it. Like I said, I gave it 4 stars. And if they did decide to release a 4th one, I probably would read it, because I read the first, or the other 3. So I don't know. Take that with what you will. I don't know, but I did really enjoy it. So there's that.